What happens if you take Devil May Cry, a small budget and inexperienced studio with only a couple of average projects under its belt? It turns out Soulstice, not the most outstanding slasher, which can only interest the unusual synergy of the two main characters, one of which is a ghost. We talk about the game in this video, and thank you for subscribing to the RTV Gaming channel so as not to miss new videos. So, the protagonists Briar and Lute are two sisters who join forces to become a chimera and join the Order of the Ashblade, which guards peace in the kingdom. Lute is not only Briar's younger sister, but also her shadow, a ghost without a corporeal form. The story begins with the arrival of the girls in the city of Ilun, over which a huge breach opened into the other world, from which the creatures of chaos rushed. By the beginning of the story, the streets of Ilun are empty, and its inhabitants are defiled and killed. Briar and Lute must find out the cause of the cataclysm, free the city and close the breach. Soulstice gradually reveals the backstory of the sisters and talks about the events due to which they had to become a chimera. Episodes about the relationship of girls turned out to be more interesting than the events related to the rescue of Ilun. The latter are rather banal, and even unexpected plot twists are quite predictable. Although the city itself turned out to be very beautiful, gloomy and sinister, it makes a depressing impression, which is reinforced by hordes of demons on its streets. Landscapes are really impressive, even though you have to pay for their contemplation with drops in frame rate. Good optimization is definitely not the point that should be written down in the merits of Soulstice. For some reason, the developers banned the use of a free camera in the game, focusing on fixed angles. This allows you to demonstrate magnificent views, but at the same time it's damn inconvenient. Considering there are so many platforming sections, you can imagine how often you will have to jump past the target just because the camera is set at an awkward angle. As a homage to the classics, this is not bad, but hey, the ability to rotate the camera in any direction was invented for a reason. Ilun is beautiful, but this applies, for the most part, to the general plans. The sisters, on the other hand, travel through monotonous locations, including such interesting and unusual ones as a prison, barracks and sewers. Getting lost there is easy, and the desire to explore such areas is close to zero. To make the player even more fun, the authors added fascinating puzzles, including activating levers to open doors and destroying crystals that prevent passage. And even going through the sewers does not guarantee that you will not return there soon. Frankly, after the sisters once again fell into this area, I wanted to close Soulstice and never return to the game. However, the streets of the city are not much more diverse, and there is nowhere to roam there. The locations are extremely linear, and in rare branches there is hardly a good loot. If Soulstice is not worth going for an interesting story and exploration, then maybe the combat system is capable of surprises? Yes and no. We have an ordinary slasher with a couple of nuances. The basic combat is typical of the genre. Briar uses different weapons, new samples are unlocked as the story progresses, collects red crystals to learn new techniques, conducts a series of attacks and juggles opponents. Combat is fast-paced, weapons can be changed mid-combo, and different types of weapons have special effects. For example, the Ash Bonebreaker is good at stunning enemies, the Hand of Vengeance is effective at knocking off armor, and the Sacred Hunter successfully deals with flying monsters. Lute, on the other hand, acts as a support fighter. She automatically attacks enemies, and at the press of a button, interrupts their attacks, activates a shield and reflects projectiles. In addition, the Spirit uses the fields of Incarnation and Exile, blue and red. With their help, you can destroy crystals, find hidden platforms, and also damage enemies that are invulnerable to normal attacks. Well, sort of like using the Angel and Demon modes in DMC, Devil May Cry. Lute's skills can be upgraded through 3 skill trees using blue crystals, and the development tree is branched, and skills are reset at will if you need to come up with a different build. Since Briar and Lute are connected by invisible bonds, this is manifested in battles. Here their connection is called unity, and it becomes stronger, the more effective the attacks. Having accumulated unity, you can activate Rapture, Unult, which allows you to carry out devastating attacks. As a result, the combat system of the game is a pleasure. If you get the hang of it, you can inventively destroy opponents and carry out massive combos. Although there is nothing fundamentally new in it, and besides, the camera again becomes an obstacle. During battles, she can be freely controlled, but she behaves chaotically, constantly fixes on the wrong monster that the player needs, and in general, does everything to prevent her from effectively dealing with enemies. The authors of Soulstice have chosen worthy sources of inspiration for themselves, including Devil May Cry, Bayonetta and the Berserk manga, but the title falls short of the original works in all aspects. Game makers at Reply Game Studios describe themselves as AA game developers, and Soulstice is truly an AA grade slasher that has little to offer against its competitors.